fact is that people still love to shop. And I think in a culture of immediate gratification, there are a few better places in the store to be able to realise that. So I think it's important that retailers and brands just focus on advantages of the store environment. Don't think channels, think about how they all connect. And again, if you play to the strengths of what the store environment can offer, which is an ease of shopping and a more enjoyable, richer, immersive experience of shopping, then you can win. I think if you allow people to touch, if you provide expert advice, which will give sort of validation or affirmation or an opinion, then the store is here to stay, for sure. It has to evolve. What used to be a very straightforward, simple journey, customer journey of many years ago, has been completely flipped on its head because of all this advent of sort of digital technology. I can now shop on the bus, I can shop walking through a park, I can shop anywhere, anytime. And of course people only shop by brands, they don't care about the channel. So the store will have to evolve. So I think we're seeing interesting things around, from a technology perspective, how people use technology in the store. I think we've seen people come and fail, so I think people just putting in supportive devices to try and bring in the online world into the store doesn't quite work. It's about how it's going to deliver and enrich a consumer's needs and behaviours. I think digital can be very interesting. I think if you go and take some immersive experiences, you can have gesture walls and other great things around very tactile, interactive experiences, which can improve the experience. But I think brands also are spending a lot more time thinking of the other components. So we do a lot of work with John Lewis, and John Lewis spend a lot of time investing in their staff. And again, they have invested hugely, and many other brands that we work with as well are doing the same thing, where they spend a lot of money now with HR on service behaviours and actually working out how their brands speak, because the staff are the defining moments of their brand. So I think you'll see a lot more people investing money within how the humans interact in the store environment. I think we see a lot of work within telco and consumer electronics, where again there's been a shift from staff being salespeople into now being sort of trusted advisors. And I think that's a sort of general theme that will sort of pervade going forward. This is an interesting question because I think this has to be inside out. So it starts with, I think brands and companies have to look at themselves. So we work with a number of brands across many different categories. And if I take 2 or 3 of those that spring to mind without naming them, they are very poor at talking to each other across different functions. They work in silos. So I think the first thing that we have seen change with the brands who have been more progressive and who have been successful at the moment are the brands who have broken down those silos. HR would never talk previously to digital, would never talk to the marketing team or the brand team. So I think internally there has to be a collective spirit. I think it's interesting that we see a lot of people sprout up with omni-channel director job titles. So again, that's very much of a growing trend. So first things first is change how you operate internally. Make sure that the C-suite and the exec board are behind that. Make sure that your exec board actually understands digital and how useful it is, because if they're not, then you're going to be behind the curve. So I think inside out is first and foremost, and then from a consumer perspective, it's very much about how you can deliver a more relevant experience. Again, that helps it make it easier to shop and more importantly, more enjoyable to shop. There are times when I want to go and pop into store for a distressed purchase that I want to get in and out as fast as possible. And that is a different journey to me walking into a store in a much more relaxed, dreaming mind state. So you must serve different missions. And again, convenience is a cornerstone of what a physical space can offer over and above online, which can take hours, days to get delivered. So how do you sort of serve different missions is important. I think I've been enough where I'm part of WPP, I work for FITCH, and I've seen Sir Martin Sorrell speak an awful lot about this. And the fact is that big data, which is a term that's bandied around the whole industry, kind of is the answer to this. Defining big data is one thing, but in simple terms, getting data from all your different channels is difficult. Difficult enough when actually they don't talk to each other. So big data, which is the heart of this, having a single view of your customer and getting to know them better so you can be more personalised and offer more tailored experience, starts with breaking down, again, those silos. A lot of this is legacy stuff. So a lot of our more exciting work that we're doing with brands who are making really impactful, exciting experiences tend to be in the Far East, where they don't have this legacy of company culture or a sort of a backlog of organizational baggage. So big data, very important. So again, if I'm getting data from a call center, as an example of a channel, that needs to have a single interaction with a data I'm getting from an online channel. So it's about IT platforms that can support that. It's about having one single data source that will support all those different channels. And then of course, how you then leverage it to be able to tailor an experience to our consumers is then the next step. So I think a lot of the people who are doing it well are the people who have omni-channel directors and teams to be able to do that. Because again, as soon as you get different people in different roles, they will start by nature being a little bit more competitive. They have to have the same kind of KPIs as well. So we're working with a couple of brands at the moment, and I was in their office last week, and we had meetings with all their different functions because we're going to start creating a new retail concept. We met with the e-commerce team, who gave us a very defined set of KPIs and goals that they had, and then we went to meet the store team. Now, technology obviously falls in stall. These people had completely different KPIs and completely different objectives. So we came out slightly flummoxed as to how on earth are you going to create an experience that is going to be a seamless one for a customer, when actually you're completely pulls apart from an internal perspective. We have sort of tools and measures to get people together, so through a workshop environment we'll get those guys starting talking and get them to understand the importance of being unified. But a lot of this is it's about connecting these things. So it's connecting staff internally, it's about connecting your channels, and just if you put it all together, then again that creates a sort of single brand voice for a consumer who doesn't care about a channel, they only care about shopping the brand. It's something very exciting for a brand to be able to put themselves in part of a consumer's lifestyle, their day-to-day needs and wants, and how they manage lifestyles. If that's going to be done through a wearable device, and that's a big opportunity for a brand to be able to put themselves part of the sort of daily routine or ritual of a consumer. So there's something interesting around having a very emotive connection with a potential customer, and particularly around how they behave, which is quite unusual to be able to get. Data capture is the most important thing. You know, we've done work for retailers, and I've had CEOs tell me personally that they want to know who their customer is as they walk in the store. And of course all this clever stuff like wearable technology, geofencing on mobile devices, it's all there. The biggest problem we find with the brands that we're working with, again, is almost like an IT perspective. So big consultancy firms like the McKinseys and Capgemini are doing good jobs at sort of painting a picture about how their organization needs to change. We find that after they have invested sums in that, they then the next time for the next turn for their investments is around IT. Because again, how do you get these different platforms talking to each other to be joined up, and how do you get that single view? So lots of ways to collect data, pretty hard to then be able to use it, which goes back to that big data problem, which is again which everyone's flummoxed by. It's just a wash with data but not really knowing what to be able to do with it.